This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz, and I'm very excited to be speaking with Román Zaragoza about ghosts. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, good. We got to talk, I think it was a year ago for This Is Their Land, and
Yeah, that's
obviously
right.
talked a little about ghosts then, but now I want to dive deep into this very serious, important show and all the
Mhm.
fun I'm sure that you're having on it.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, let's dive in.
So I enjoyed getting to find out about this new ghost power that SAS has this season. Do you remember when you first read that in the script and what your reaction was?
Yeah, so the showrunners, Joe Port and Joe Wiseman, messaged me maybe about a year prior to getting that first script about the idea of having Sass being able to go into dreams. And they kind of wanted to get my, feeling on it. And I loved it. I thought that was a great idea. And and so fast forward about a year and we were shooting episode 1 and 2 pretty much at the same time. And I got the script like probably a week before, and Richie was the one who texted me first, was like, read the script, read 102 right now. And I'm like, okay. And I read it and I was like, oh my gosh, here it is. We did it. They did it. This is incredible. It was so exciting. It's because it's opening up Sasappis's worlds, and it's opening up so much for this character and for the relationships and for the shenanigans that can ensue. And so I'm just incredibly just excited to explore more of this power.
You were in this situation, do you think you would use it for similar purposes, or do you think you'd go for something a little grander?
Oh man, that's a good question. I feel like I would do something a little more grand. I think the sad part is Sasappis can't leave, so he's only he's confined to the people that visit Woodstone. If I had that power, oh my goodness, what would I do? I'd probably do some very interesting things. Who knows? Go to my friends' dreams and try to just mess with them a little bit. I think that sounds fun. But yeah, it's a big power, If you really dive into what you could do, it's some interesting things you could do.
When I think of him, the two main things I think about season three are that he's always talking about smelling food. I know everyone is, but he seems like he's doing it more. And I don't know if you've heard, but he had a girlfriend. It was a car ghost. Seems like that comes up very often.
Yeah, he just he feels definitely a little insecure, He wants people to remember. They're like, "Wait, why doesn't anyone remember this?" So he's a fun guy. I really want to dive more into his backstory of like where that insecurity stems from and all of that. But he does love to smell food. He's always trying to prove himself. Even after 500 years of being dead, he's still trying to prove himself.
I also like that he tries to, get involved in other people's relationships, despite, as other people tell him, that he doesn't have a lot of experience, but he also doesn't always do it in the kindest and most well-meaning way.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. And he likes the drama a bit. He likes excitement, and he's been dead for so long, and so this is like the first time in who knows how long where he's just excited about his day to day, So it's fun.
And you feel that having to wear the same costume every episode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, but it was fun getting to wear different costumes for episode 2 when I got to go into Jay's dreams. That was new and different and exciting, and I was like, "Ooh, I want to do this more. This sounds like fun."
You think that the show does a good job of balancing his, Lenape identity without going sort of over the top and sort of pushing that too much?
Yeah, I think that's been a really fun thing to kind of bring in, and then also be like, he's also so many other things, and so we have our incredible Lenape consultant, Joe Baker, who's there to, for them to consult with and bring, feed ideas to, and so we bring up things like the tree episode, and we talk about, land acknowledgements and what that means. We talk about like what happened to the Lenape, and I think we would be really fun to dive more into that, and it's a very serious and very heavy topic, but I think it's something that is worth diving into a little bit more, and especially because there aren't a lot of native people, especially Lenape people in that area anymore. And like, where did they go? They went to they went to like Canada area, like Minnesota, and then into Canada, and they also went into like Delaware and to Oklahoma. So like, let's talk about that displacement, but also Sasappis is in addition to that, he's also just a human, and he's complicated, and he's a lover, and he wants to be loved, and he wants to smell food, he wants to indulge, and so there's so many different layers to him, and so it's been really fun to get these scripts where you see just the different sides of him.
It's also been nice, I think, in the industry to see a lot of TV shows like Reservation Dogs and Rutherford Falls, Resident Alien, a number of great films starring Lily Gladstone, that
Mhm.
just to see how do you feel the industry is doing in terms of, telling native stories these days?
Oh, it's incredible. I gotta give my flowers to Sterling Harjo, and all the 1491s. And I worked with the 1491s back in 2019 on this amazing play called Between Two Knees. I was understudying a bunch of characters, and I went on. It was so fun. But these guys have then from there and been working, of course, for years doing sketch comedy and all their films and all their things. And now, with Reservation Dogs, Rutherford Falls. And then Sterling Harjo has that new series that he's doing right now. I think they're shooting currently, like right now, and there's just so many projects happening, and it's so exciting. We have the incredible Lily Gladstone, someone I worked with also in 2017 at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. We did a play called Off the Rails together. So it's just fun to see people that you know and that you've worked with, and they are just like blowing up, and they're doing the thing. I literally just saw The Outsiders and on Broadway here in New York, and this amazing native actor Sky Lakota Lynch, he is nominated for a Tony, and he's native and he's incredible, and so just seeing all these incredible native artists just rise, and it's just a rising tide. We're lifting all ships.
Glad to hear that. Well, going back to Ghost for a moment, I feel like you do have a chance to really mostly interact with everyone in the ensemble, but is there anybody you feel like you just want Sass to have a little bit more time, more scenes with?
Oh man, I think Sheila and I always talk about wanting a little bit more, especially after the season of her being, away a little bit and being lost in the well. It'd be nice to have some things with her. It would be fun, for her to dive more into maybe her Latina roots a little bit, and like have her speak Spanish and teaching Sass Spanish. I don't know. That was just an idea that we were talking about a while back. I think that'd be really fun. But everyone, I want to do more with everybody, but she would be definitely a fun person to work more with.
What do you think the chances are that Jessica could be back at some point in the near future?
I think Sass would love that. We'll have to see. Nicole Sakura is incredible, and anytime we're acting together, it's just a fun day on set. So, yeah, I think that'd be great. Let's do it.
All the ghosts do have, very distinct personalities. Do you feel like you're closest to Sass, or is there someone else who fits you a little bit better?
It's been fun to see the evolution of all of us and how we've slowly become more and more of our characters. I think I have morphed into my character more than anybody else has. I'll say that. I've definitely become more sarcastic, and it's been funny to hear a lot of the other cast like comment on it. They're like, "Geez, Román, what are you really becoming sass there?" But the obvious ones are like Devin and Thor. They're just sometimes the same exact person, just talk a little differently. And like I was calling Richie out on some things because recently he would say things. I'm like, oh my gosh, was that you or Pete? Because that sounded like Pete. Oh, he's so funny. And yeah, I think all of us are slowly morphing into our characters.
You also mentioned the dream sequence before, and it was a cool opportunity for you, unlike most of the cast members, to actually get to work with Utkarsh and acknowledge each other.
Mhm.
What was that like?
It's incredible. Utkarsh he's a legend. He's incredible, and he's so funny and so present and just so I don't know. We just had such a good day. It was literally like I think one full day of us like doing the whole Star Trek sequence into the basketball sequence and all of that in one day of just him and me. It was just like the two of us like most of the day, just kicking it and hanging out, and he's an incredible guy. I learned so much from him, and he's a great dude.
I know that season 4 is happening, which is great news. Do you have any other projects lined up in the meantime or coming after that?
I'm currently working on a new animated film from Paramount. It's the new Avatar: The Last Airbender film, and so I can't say too much about it, but I'm part of it, and it's going to come out, I think, in 2026.
Seems like a long time away, but I'm sure it's not as far as we think, right?
Yeah, it's a good question. My passport, I think, expires around the same time, so it's it'll be here before we know it.
Well, at Awards Buzz, we love awards, and I'm curious if there's any show or performance you've seen recently that you feel is particularly awards worthy.
Man, that's a good question. I feel like I'm so behind on a lot of different things. But I will say I love Only Murders in the Building. I just finished that show. I think it's so good. And this is from last season, last year, but I just watched Iron Claw, right? What is that? Zac Efron movie? I
Yeah,
just watched
yeah.
on the plane and I was sobbing. I was like, wow, this film is incredible. Zac Efron, Jesus, incredible job. So I have to I think I have to watch a few more things. I got to catch up on some things, but everyone's raving about Shogun right now and so there's some awesome shows. So I'm sure I'm leaving out a bunch, but that's what I got on top of my head.
Those are good answers. Is there anything that you yourself think you want to try in the future, a certain role or format?
Oh man, I came from musical theater growing up and then I did Shakespeare a bunch and to bring those mediums more into the film and TV space would be really fun. And so to be able to do some kind of a musical on screen or do some Shakespeare on screen would be a really exciting thing to do for sure.
I could see a musical episode of Ghost when someone's ghost power turns everyone into song or something like that, you know.
Honestly, yeah, that's a great idea. I think we got to do it. We got to make it happen. We've been pushing for it. We got a lot of singers. We got a lot of singers on the show. So fingers crossed.
I'll hold out for it. Thank you so much for your time, Ramon. It was a pleasure to speak with you.
Oh, thank you so much.